So Hare Krishna devotees, thank you very much for joining. Yesterday was the Tulsi Viva also, and then it was Kartik Purnima. So wish you all a happy festivity seasons, and may you all have a good progress in your life. Am I audible, clear, or is there any disturbance?
It, it's fine, Prabhuji, audible.
So we'll begin the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, chapter number 9, verse number 31 onwards, we will see.
Prabhu,
So we are also,
minor sa disturbance hai in the sound. It's not perfect.
That is because of the, actually, I will shift inside after 10 minutes.
Okay, fine.
10 minutes में शिफ्ट हो जाऊंगा क्योंकि इधर बाहर हवा का आवाज है because this is
हाँ,
blowing wind.
yeah, possible.
हल्का हल्का हवा चल रहा है. Yeah. So we can have the verses posted, Prabhu, on the screen.
Rao Prabhu, would you be okay to share the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'll do.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम राम. मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. हरे कृष्ण. So text number 31. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Jnanam Paramaguhyam Me Yadvijnana Samanvitam Sahasrayam Tadangam Cha Grahana Gaditam Maya. And go for the translation. The personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in scripture is very confidential and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for the process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully.
I'll
the
read the
purport can begin. Yeah.
Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe, and therefore the personality of the Godhead replied to his four principal inquiries in four important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in four verses. These were Brahma's questions. What are the forms of the Lord, both in the matter and in transcendence? How are the different energies of the Lord working? How does the Lord play with his different energies? And how may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? The prelude to the answers in this verse is under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, the supreme absolute truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the God. The Lord says that the Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of the absolute supreme being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By the mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the absolute truth cannot be understood. The mental speculators can reach up to the standard of impersonal Brahman realization, but factually complete knowledge of transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus, it is called the supreme confidential wisdom. Out of the many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of the Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said by the Lord himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try the perfection of human life, and out of many liberated souls, one may know him as he is. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of the Godhead may be attained by devotional service only. Rahasyam means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita because he found Arjun to be a devotee and friend. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of the Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. The mystery is love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification of for knowing the mystery of the personality of the Godhead. And to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead, regulative principles of devotional service must be followed. The regulative principles are called Vidhi Bhakti or the devotional service of the Lord, and they can be practiced by a neophyte with his present senses. Such regulative principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord, and such hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord can be made possible in the association of devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended five main principles for attaining perfection in the devotional service of the Lord. The first is association with devotees, that is hearing. Second is chanting the glories of the Lord. Third, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotee. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. And fifth, worshipping the deity of the Lord with devotion. Such rules and regulations are parts of the devotional service. So, as requested by Lord Brahma, the personality of the Godhead will explain all about the four questions put forward by Brahma and others also, which are parts and parcel of the same questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the purport says about most important thing is that Krishna can be only realized. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only by Bhakti Krishna can be known. And this is something that the Lord keeps on telling again and again. And here also he said that unless I decide to reveal myself, you cannot know me. That's the most important aspect of the system. We, with our limited brains, cannot understand who is Krishna, what is his paraphernalia, what are his activities, how he performs his activities, what is the nature of his activities. All this, it does not work over here. And the most important Chatushloki Bhagavatam, which is going to start from verse number 33 onwards, 33, 34, 35, 36. Originally, Bhagavatam was spoken in these four verses only, in the Parampara. This was started by Adi Shesh. When you come to the third canto, you can see that the four Kumaras, they went down through Ganga Devi to the Patal Lok, because there she goes as Bhogavati. Her name is Bhogavati in the subterranean levels of the earth. She went there, and the four Kumaras went through the navigation system, met Ananta Shesha, and Ananta Shesha gave them the four verses. So these four verses kept on coming till it came to Srila Vyasadeva through Narad Muni. And then Narad Muni told him, Abhi iska vistar karo, you expand it. So the four verses got expanded into 18,000 verses about the beauties of Krishna, the brilliance of the Lord's devotee and everything. So the same thing it's been mentioned in the purport also. And then also it says that by mental speculation, can you just go a little bit up in the purport? Yeah. So it says that out of many liberated souls, one may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. And out of many thousands of people, one may travel perfection in human life. And one may know him as he is. So this is the beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita 7.3. It says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschid mamriti tapata. So it's not about trying to understand the Lord by your own endeavor. It is about surrendering to the Lord and then letting him take a call how much he has to reveal you. Ye yatha mam prapadante tam stateva bhajamyaham. Most importantly, in this case, one has to understand that there is a verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It says, Shruti Smriti Pranadi Pancharatra Vidim Vina Aikanta ki Harir Bhaktir Utpatayevi Kalpati. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic scriptures like Upanishad, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra are simply an unnecessary disturbance in the society. So Krishna has given us these things, but at the same time, just studying on our own endeavor will not help. One has to accept a guru. And here Brahmaji also has studied the Bhagavatam, studied the Vedas, but still is asking the relevant questions. So what is the first question? Forms of the Lord, both in matter and in transcendence, different energies, how they work, how does the Lord play with the different energy, and how Brahma may be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted. So as we go ahead, we will see these questions being answered one by one by the Supreme Lord himself. Next verse we can go. Any doubts in this before I go ahead?
Not in this, Prabhu.
Okay. Next verse is Yavanaham yatha bhavo yadrupa guna karmakaha tathaiva tattvam vijnanam astu me mad anugrahat. All of me, namely my actual eternal form, my transcendental existence, color, quality, activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Purport. The secret of success in understanding the intricacies of knowledge of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Even in the material world, the father of many sons discloses the secret of his position to the pet sons. The father discloses the confidence unto the son whom he thinks worthy. An important man in the social order can be known is by mercy only. Similarly, one must be very dear to the Lord in order to know the Lord. The Lord is unlimited. No one can know him completely, but one's advancement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can make one eligible to know the Lord. Here we can see that the Lord is sufficiently pleased with Brahmaji, and therefore he offers his causeless mercy to him so that Brahmaji may have the factual realization of the Lord by his mercy only. In the Vedas, also it is said that a person cannot know the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, simply by dint of mundane education or intellectual gymnastics. One can know the supreme truth if one has unflinching faith in the bona fide spiritual master as well as in the Lord. Such a faithful person, even though illiterate in the mundane sense, can know the Lord automatically by the mercy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also, it is said that the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone, and he keeps himself concealed from the faithless by his yoga maya potential. To the faithful, the Lord reveals himself in his form, quality, and pastimes. The Lord is not formless, as wrongly conceived by the impersonalist, but his form is not like one that we have experienced. The Lord discloses his form even to the extent of measurement to his pure devotees, and that is the meaning of Yavan, as explained by Srila Jiva Goswami, the greatest scholar of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord discloses the transcendental nature of his existence. The mundane wranglers make mundane conceptions of the form of the Lord. It is said in the revealed scriptures that the Lord has no mundane form. Therefore, persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that he must be formless. They cannot distinguish between the mundane form and the spiritual form. According to them, without a mundane form, one must be formless. This conclusion is also mundane because formlessness is the opposite conception of form. Negation of the mundane conception does not establish a transcendental fact. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord has a transcendental form and that he can utilize any one of his senses for any purpose. For example, he can eat with his eyes and he can see with his leg. In the mundane conception of form, one cannot eat with one's eyes or see with his leg. That is the difference between the mundane body and the spiritual body of Sach Chit Ananda. A spiritual body is not formless. It is a different type of body, of which we cannot conceive with our present mundane senses. Formless therefore means devoid of mundane form or possessing a spiritual body of which the non-devotee can have no conception by the speculative method. The Lord discloses to the devotee his unlimited varieties of transcendental bodies, all identical with one another, with different kinds of bodily features. Some of the transcendental bodies of the Lord are blackish, and some of them are whitish, some of them are reddish, and some are yellowish. Some of them are four-handed, some of them two-handed, some of them are like the fish, and some are like the lion. All these different transcendental bodies of the Lord, without any differential category, are disclosed to the devotees of the Lord by the mercy of the Lord. And thus, the impersonalist false arguments claiming the formlessness of the supreme truth do not appeal to a devotee of the Lord, even though such a devotee may not be a very advanced in devotional service. The Lord has unlimited number of transcendental qualities, and one of them is his affection for his unalloyed devotee. In the history of the mundane world, we can appreciate his transcendental qualities. The Lord incarnates himself for the protection of his devotees and for the annihilation of the faithless. His activities are in relation with his devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such activities of the Lord in relation with his devotees, and the non-devotees have no knowledge of such pastimes. The Lord lifted the Govardhana hill when he was only 7 years old and protected his pure devotees at Vrindavana from wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now, this lifting of the Govardhana hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable by the faithless, but for the devotees, it is absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless say that the Lord is almighty but do not believe it. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is a Lord eternally, and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation for million of years or by mental speculation for billion of years. The impersonal interpretation of the mundane wranglers is completely refuted in this verse because it's clearly stated here that Supreme Lord has his qualities, form, pastimes, and everything that a person has. All these descriptions of the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead are factual realizations by the devotee of the Lord, and by the causeless mercy of the Lord, they are revealed to his pure.
Report. Yeah. So now in this particular verse, it clearly talks about the kind of form that the Lord has. It clearly says that I am not formless, I am full of form. So, what is the secret of understanding the intricate knowledge of the subject? So, it says, out of my cosmos mercy. So, there is a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. It says that, Tesham yuvanu kampartham aham ajnana jamtamaha nashyame atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So it says that out of my anukampa, out of my cosmos mercy. So we can understand the Lord only by when He decides to show Himself. Otherwise, there is no scope. There is no way that it will happen. And importantly, it so happens over here that people, they say that we don't believe in the Lord, we don't believe in the looks, we don't believe in the qualities. But here the Lord clearly says that my eternal form, my transcendental existence, color, let it be awakened by your factual realization. Because Krishna has reserved the right to say that whether he can or whether he wants to. He says, Naham prakashasya sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha. I am not available for everyone. I am not seen by everybody. Mudoyam nabijanati mokloko mamajamavem. Foolish people do not know me that I am eternal. So the question arises then in that case, 5,000 years back, everybody saw Krishna. But if seeing is everything, then how many could not understand that who is Krishna? So in the same tone, it talks over here is that अगर भगवान को जानना है तो उनके मर्जी से जानना है, उनके भक्तों से जानना है, ना कि अपना दिमाग लगा के जानना है. Even in the material world, many a times, you see certain knowledge has to be come from the teachers in the right way with their experience and wisdom. You cannot just read a book and say, I am knowledgeable and I know to perform everything. So same thing happens over here. These few verses over here are very, very straightforward, which tells that the Lord is full of rasa, the Lord is full of beauty, the Lord has multiple forms. So like it talks about his various forms as Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar, Varaha avatar, Narsingha avatar, and then the human-bodied avatars. Everything the Lord exposes by His mercy. Can you just go down, Prabhu? Yeah. So in the Vedas also it is said, yeah, that's okay, Prabhu. Yeah. To the faithful person, the Lord reveals Himself in His form of a positive pastime. Now, in this, there is a beautiful story which I will share with you. It was there in one of the Puranas. It says that once Narad Muni came to the face of the earth, and when he came to the face of the earth, he met a Brahmana with who was chanting the Vedas in a very beautiful way. Very beautiful way. So he was attracted by his chanting. He came and met him and he glorified him. He said, "What a wonderful way you're chanting the Vedas. It is so nice. I am so..." Don't ring the bell. Yeah. So I am so happy to see you doing that. So the Brahmana also says that, no, this is my duty. Patan, patan, yajan, yajan. As Narada moves out of the house of the Brahmana, he passes by a banyan tree. And under the banyan tree, he sees there is one cobbler, Mochi, who is doing some stitching job of a chapel. And he's also singing something, bhajan. So Narad Muni also feels that, oh, this fellow, no, not qualified, is also singing the bhajan. So he sings the bhajan. So when Narad Muni goes to Golok Vrindavan and meets Krishna, so Krishna says, "What's happening in your mind, Narad? Any doubt?" He said, "Yeah, I met one Brahmana." He said, "Yeah, I saw you met a Brahmana." "No, I just wanted to understand that when will this Brahmana achieve your dham, because he's always glorifying you." So Krishna asked him, he said, "You met only one person or more than a person?" Yeah, I met another person also. He was a cobbler. What was he doing? Well, he didn't know Vedas, but he was chanting your glories. So who will come to Golok Vrindavan? So the answer to that, the Lord said that you decide on it, Narada, who should come to Golok Vrindavan. What is their understanding? What is their faith? How it is? He says, what should I tell? So the Lord whispers something into his ears. Something he says. He says, okay. So Narada is startled. He said, you want me to ask them this? He said, yes. If you want to test, you do it. Now that you have asked a question, I'm giving you a solution how to find the answer. Do it. So Narad went down to Brahmana again. Oh, Brahmana was happy. He said, I'm sure you must have met the Lord. What did he say about me coming to Golok Vrindavan? Because I forgot to tell you, the Brahmana, when he was praised by Narad, so he felt that I should be the right candidate for Golok. Whereas the cobbler did not ask anything. So Narad said, well, I went to the Lord, but the Lord was busy. He says, what, the Lord was busy? Yes, he was busy. What was he doing? He said, he had a needle in his hand, and from the eye of the needle, he was pulling an elephant out. What did he say? He had a needle in the hand, which you do, the swing needle, and the swing needle has an eye, and the Lord was pulling an elephant out of it. So Narada, when he said that, the Brahmana was disturbed. He said, Narad, I am an intelligent person. I am a learned scholar. I know the Vedas. I know the thoughts. What you are telling is absolutely crap. The eye of the needle is so small and the elephant is so big. How can it come out? There's no chance. If you don't want to reply to what I've asked, you please leave me alone. But nevertheless, this is not the right thing you have done. I'm very sad that a person of your caliber is answering me like that. So then Narad went to the Mochi. So the Mochi said, my dear Lord, looks like you are very happy. You have come from the Golok Vrindavan. Yes. He says, how is my Lord? He said, he's fine. He was busy. Well, busy about what? Busy about what? So the same thing Narad said, that he had a needle in the hand and he was pulling the elephant out of it. So then the cobbler was smiling. He says, yes, that's right. This can be done only by my Lord. So Narad said, why you don't find it? This is unbelievable. Means how do you believe such things? So what Narad says, the cobbler says, he picks one small banyan tree seed. He opens the seed, there are multiple seeds inside. Carefully he removes one seed and he shows. He said, if such a big banyan tree can be put inside such a small seed, pulling an elephant out of the eye is nothing. My Lord can do everything because he is Sarva Samarthyavan. His form, his quality, his pastime, everything is fine, right? So what does it show over here? What does it show? That to the faithful, the Lord reveals himself, his form, quality, and pastime. And those who are not faithful, the Lord has a right to not show himself and do what he likes. And the person who does not believe in him has no capacity in whatsoever to consult. That's the reason it is mentioned that the Lord concealed his faithless by this Yogamaya. Yogamaya Samavritaha. Maya Javanika Channa. So the Lord does not appear to in front of everybody. 5,000 years back, Bhagavan was on the face of the earth. How many people could understand he was the Lord? Can anybody answer me this? Can we have a session over here where it says, who are the people who could understand Krishna is God?
One is Vidura.
Fantastic. Yes, Vidura. Who else? Everybody can take a call. Yeah. Vidura
Kunti
knew who
Maharani.
is Kunti Maharani. Absolutely fine, dear. Thank you.
Bhishma.
Bhishma, yeah.
Yes, Bhishma Pitama is a Mahajan. He knew. Anybody else?
Arjun,
Arjun.
Pandavas.
Arjun came to know on the battlefield. Yes, Arjun came to know on the battlefield. That's right. One more person.
Akrura.
Akrura, yes, he came to know when he was taking the Lord over there. Yes, Akrura is the one. But I'm telling from the Mahabharata perspective, Dronacharya also could understand that he was the Supreme Lord. He was the last. Because if you see the Mahabharata, when the Lord comes as a Shanti Doot, and when he shows his Virat Swarup, other than Drona, Bhishma, and Vidur, nobody can see it. So these are the three personalities. So, and then people said that if you show me God, I will believe. If you don't show me, I don't believe. If seeing is everything, then Duryodhana could not understand. It is more about understanding the Lord and understanding his pastimes and understanding his association with devotees. Then only we come to know that who is the Lord. Actually, this particular translation and purport is very, 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 very self-explanatory. Do you have any doubts in this before we proceed ahead? Because Prabhupada has already given enough in this. Any statement which you feel that you could not understand or you have a thoughts on that?
Prabhu,
When we were, yeah.
at a practical level, meaning logical level, not using any Shastra, how do we convince a person, a formless believer, that form is superior to formless? एक छोटा argument we had heard is about, if the Lord has a form, meaning how is it possible that you have a form whereas the Lord doesn't? But that
That's
argument
right, yeah.
is also not fully irrefutable. He's saying it is like, the Lord is omnipotent. So he can create a form out of his own formless version. So,
But our question to them is that why do you say that the Lord is formless?
okay, because
You
their
could
scripture says so.
Huh?
Their scripture says so.
Yeah. Are we talking about the Nirakarvadis of our group, or are we talking about the other religion which says it is formless?
Uh,
From which perspective?
other religions more.
So then in that case, the has got certain aspects of the forms of the Lord, which these people denied, but it is there in the verses, where Prophet Muhammad himself has felt, and he makes it a point. He says, there is a bluish color form of the Lord. I'll get you the quotes. I'll get you the quotes. Because I had a discussion with Nand Kumar Prabhu on this at one point of. But Prophet Muhammad took a call that the form should not be revealed because then it will get into idol worship. Because that is how they are. In the name of the idol worship, the Romans, they were making a lot of business. Same like the temple business that we have. So Prophet was completely against that. He said, no, there should be no form revealed of the Lord because it leads to distraction and multi-god faith, polygods. One was that. But there is definitely a statement is there where it also talks about the eyes, the ears, the hands and the legs of the Lord in the Holy Quran. But it has been not given a complete form. Second thing, Prabhupada mentions that those scriptures were kept at that level for only once in reason, that suddenly telling a desert Vasi or a Badion that the Lord is full of paraphernalia would not have been digested. So the Shankara philosophy was used about going from Gautam Buddha, who said that there is nirvana, there is nothing. Then came the supreme absolute truth as formlessness. By Shankaracharya, he reinstilled the Vedas. Then came Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, who instilled that the Lord is Dvaita, he has a form, and that form has to be worshipped. So we have a lengthy process of making them understand that the Lord's form is there without quoting the Shastra, only from the perspective of Acharyas giving the proof.
एक ऐसा एक डिस्कशन हुआ था wherein one person said कि that is the symbolic description that a blind man also can say I can see you, although he cannot see anything, but he means that basically I can understand you, I can understand your actions, your thoughts. But
now when we say that it is a symbolic representation, it means it does not have a particular look, because the look can vary from depending upon how a person perceives. That's what the point is over here, right? Because you take 3 pictures of Krishna within ISKCON itself, all 3 look different, but the features are same. One could be that aspect, because there is one group of people in Gujarat, they are the Pranami people, they say, because they do not know the form of the Lord, they worship the mukut, they worship the basuri, they worship the cloth, but they do not have the form. So they have gone to that extent of being formless. I don't know if you have heard about them.
No, Prabhu. This is the first time I'm hearing.
Now, we have to understand that for that perspective also there has to be some features. Like, for example, let's take the case of Shivaji. Since our childhood, we have seen Shivaji's Marathi films in so many. In every film, a different actor has acted as Shivaji. But do you see the actor or do you see Shivaji over there when he comes and works or when he comes and does the role?
Yeah, the features.
When you look at that features, you know this is Shivaji Maharaj, regardless of whether it was X, Y, Z. So
Correct.
the Lord is understood by his features. And that is the reason when it says that the Lord reveals himself in the form, pastimes, and quality, formlessness is just one aspect of the Lord. And the Lord clearly says, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaneti Shabdate. There are 3 steps of understanding the Lord: formlessness, form, and personal attributes. So anybody accepting that formlessness is there is not wrong, but is partially knowledge. And that, Prabhu, this you can take it to the next level by going to Canto 10, chapter 2, verse number 34, where the Devatas themselves says that after great difficulty, this soul who believed in your formless aspect achieved the Param Padma, which is the Brahma Jyoti, But he fell down because he could not understand that your lotus feet is the source of everything. And this is spoken by the Devtas. And these Devtas, when they speak, this is again computed by Lord Ganesha. And Ganesha is the Lord of intelligence. So when people say that we don't agree that there is formlessness, we don't agree to the point, my request to them would be only one thing, Prabhu, that why should I believe you if Ganesh is superior to you? To me, what Ganpati says is more important because I find that he is more intellectual, more superior in his position. And if he would have found this refutable, he would have refuted Vyasa by telling that this is not okay. So these are the same people who say that God has no form, but they are doing the Smarta Vidhi and they will do Ganesh Puja with the form. So in that case, how do they believe in the form of Ganesh, but they do not believe in the form of absolute? Or is it that these are the people who don't believe in anything? But yes, that much was revealed to them what they could understand. There was much more than that, but they were not in a capability to understand. That is what is our understanding about them. Because in a similar scenario, when you worship as formless, he says yes. I said, why are you putting it to me that I should also agree to your text? Because in my text in Bhagavad Gita, once Krishna shows the Vishwa Virat Swarup, Arjun is afraid. Then the Lord, he tells Arjun to come in a more acceptable form. So he comes as Chaturbhuj Narayan. One I had a colleague, then he asked, he tells him, no, you was a follower of Zakir. You are better off as you are. And Zakir Naik's favorite pastime. So that time the Lord said, take up people with about two-handed form of mine is very, very durlabh. I had only one question. I said, most worshipable form. I said, when my scripture tells me to worship, why should I listen? Do you accept? So you follow what you are supposed to follow. It is the word of the Lord. I follow what I am supposed to. Who authorized it? So he counter-argued, telling me that. So he says the Lord is formless. I said, my friend, in your latest version, in the also the Lord has clearly said you accept him as formless. In the other religion, they have other instructions to follow. They may follow that what they are supposed to, and you follow what I have told you. I said, when the Lord has told you to follow something, you follow. Why are you pushing it to me? And that is where the dispute ended then. Because he said, you never told, nobody told us about this aspect. I said, see, not everybody may know, but it is very clearly instructed by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita that this form of mine is worshipable. So when the Lord says that my form is worshipable, why should I go to formlessness? And this is the same attribute I will put it to our people who are the Nirakarvadis, that when you read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells that this is my form and it is worshipable. So why not?
Prabhuji, can I come here? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry for interrupting. Prabhuji, as you rightly said, when Shankaracharya was there, it was a formless way of devoting, right? So
Yeah.
as you know, the society degraded from intelligence, from spiritual intelligence to physical existence, right? So
Absolutely.
when we entered Kali Yuga, our spirituality was gone down the drain. We didn't have any aspect of controlling our own emotions. Right? As Andy also rightly mentioned that even in ISKCON, you find different impressions of Lord Krishna. Is because the emotional aspect when you create the image has a bearing on the features that you build. Right? So it comes an impression. So eventually, your devotion, the ultimate form of devotion is nishkarma. It's spiritual. It's non. It is formlessness, right? It's in abundance that you find your presence. So even in Advaita, as you call across, the only reason we have so many forms is every people has emotions. They have their vasanas, and each people based on their lifestyle, the food that they take, they have an impression of their mind, and they see something in a different perspective, right? A coin has two sides, so everything is a perception. Do you agree to that, Prabhuji?
No,
So
everything is not a perception. What happens over here is that when we say everything is a perception, then it becomes ambiguous and then it becomes
No,
without
no, it's not a
scriptural
perception. For
evidence.
example, For example, few people having thirst. One will feel the thirst by water, one will feel the thirst by 7-Up, one will quench the thirst by Sprite. Everything is a form of water with a different flavor. So what I mean to say is each man has their own vasanas. So to get the people orient to a form of thought beyond themselves, these images came into picture. As you
And
rightly mentioned
who and who gave
in
them?
the Kurukshetra, when Krishna bought that Virat roop, he wanted Arjuna to come out of fear, come out of himself, and see the magnanimity of the world that is, the galaxy that is. That's why he saw his Virat roop. But when he saw Krishna getting scared, he formed his to Narayana roop to make him understand that I am the love, the affection that you look for, but I am the destroyer themselves. I am the creator. So because his mind was not able to envisage and absorb the Virat roop, he came to his mellow version. Then he came to his human form to tell him that, Partha, let's fight, let us do our duty. Then he became a coach. So for us, ultimate aim to go is the formless way of meditation, which will take us to the supreme way, where the God is formless because it is pure energy. Energy cannot have a form. Energy
Pradeep,
transforms into a form, which
Pradeep,
comes into the place. So this is my.
Pradeep,
I'm just
This
sharing
is
my
your
thought now.
understanding. No,
Pradeep,
Pradeep, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
my absolutely.
that's an incorrect understanding, Pradeep.
So
That's
I'm
a
trying to correct myself. So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What I will tell you is here, Pradeep,
Yes, sir.
when you
Haji.
say that formlessness is the aspect of the Lord, you are absolutely right. But then you also have to go through the scriptures and see that who are the acharyas who have given us this thing. Now, why it
Fair
happens
enough.
that way? Formlessness is the first aspect of the Lord. And the Lord Himself
Correct.
says that I can be understood in three ways. You come and
Yes.
understand me in the formlessness, then as you enter into the formlessness, I will slowly reveal to you my formed part, and then I will take you into my personal ambit. And
Correct.
when in
Correct.
ISKCON,
Correct,
when
sir.
we study that, we
Yes.
already go through these three aspects and we agree to the three aspects also. But when
Correct.
we say that formlessness is the only way out,
No, I'm
then
not saying
we
the
are
only way.
actually, yeah,
No, I'm not saying the only way. I'm saying it is the path towards the ultimate way.
yeah.
Formlessness is the ultimate way. Right?
And
What you
that
are
is
saying
the
is totally
reason.
agreed.
That is
Yeah.
the reason when Brahma created this universe and Brahmadev was, now
Yes,
Brahma is
sir.
asking this aspect is going on.
Hmm.
So before even understanding that who the Lord is, Brahma just heard two sounds, ta and pa, when he took birth
Hmm.
on that lotus level.
Yes.
Coming.
Yes.
So he went down to find out everything. Everything was dark, nothing was there.
Hmm.
Then Brahma said that I will do tapasya. So he meditated on the Lord. He just
Correct.
meditated on the something. Okay. Once
Very
he
true, sir.
when the meditation started and when the meditation finished, what was
Hmm.
revealed to him was the supreme abode of the Lord, and he said, Ishvara Parama Krishna Prasachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So everything, whatever the tapasya he did, because from his perspective, sitting on the lotus, he could see the Golok Dham. And in the Golok Dham, what he saw? Venum Kanantama Ravinda Dalaya Taksham Barahavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Pakotika Maniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. What he saw? There was a huge Brahma Jyoti, and when the Brahma Jyoti cleared, the formlessness got dispatched. From inside came Krishna with the Venu in his hand, with a Mor Mukut on his head, with a Pitambar Vastra, with Vanamali, with Kaustubh Mani, and everything. So when that happened, he said, Anadir Adir Govinda. He said, you do not have the beginning, but you are the beginning of everything. You are Sarva Karana Karanam, you are everything. So the perspective about understanding that what the Lord's look is not based on upon what we come to the conclusion, but it is Shastric. And it is given by
Exactly.
Brahmadev, who is the creator. And Brahma says that he
Agreed.
has Venum Panantam. He has a Venu in his
Hmm.
hand. And then you go a little bit to the Isha Upanishad. In the Isha Upanishad, when you go to the verse number 15, the devotee says, my dear Lord, your formlessness comes out of the Brahma Jyoti because there is only light, nothing else is there. Can you
Very
please
true.
remove that light for some time and show me your beautiful face? So it means
Exactly.
what comes from the formlessness is form. But for that, from the transition period from formless to form takes time. So the
Fair
first
enough.
step could be formlessness, but as you go ahead and as you go, like you take for example the Brahmanandis. Brahmanandis means जो ब्रह्म ज्योति से खुश है, जो ब्रह्म ज्योति में जाके खुश रहते हैं, formlessness aspect of the Lord gives them ananda, because that is also a kind of happiness. But they are not averse to this thinking that the Lord cannot have a form or the Lord will not have a form. They say if He reveals, we will accept it, because our understanding to now understand, my understanding is Brahmanandi. So the Chatur Kumaras were Brahmanandis. But when they came into the ambit of Vaikuntha, and when they saw the Lord's prasad, so from the prasad somebody removed the lotus, from the lotus feet of the Lord, they removed the tulsi and gave them. When they smelled the tulsi of the Lord, they were completely mesmerized, and then they said, oh, there is something more to it. How could it be that something could be offered to formlessness? So then there is a discussion, and then slowly the Lord comes out of the Vaikuntha and shows himself. He says, beyond that, formlessness is the form, but you need to qualify for that. And that is the reason Krishna says, Naham prakashasya sarmasya vyogamaya samavita. I am not eligible, or I am not, like, there is no way that you can force me to show myself. I
Exactly.
just
Okay.
conceal my form and let them think that I am formless. But when I see that the person's mind is not against my form and he is okay with what I have to show, which to me, Pradeep, it looks like you are on that path now. That is the reason you are on this forum, and your studies and your inquisitiveness is taking to a direction to understand that what exactly it is. So I would only pray to the Lord as a Paramatma Swarup in your heart, that, oh my dear Lord, you reveal to him your beautiful form and give him that necessary, what you say, understanding.
Thank you,
So this
Swamiji.
is the
One
particular
small,
verse, yeah.
Swamiji, just a small creation. So when you talk about this, and then when you talk about Tatvamasi, like what you said
Yeah.
in Ashtavakra Gita, which is saying though
Yeah.
or that. So now,
Yeah.
when you get into this journey, how do you transcend from your selflessness to the ultimate spiritualness?
See, that particular journey also the Lord will show you from within as a Chaitya Guru. Because when Krishna says that in the chapter number 15, verse number 15 of Bhagavad Gita, he says that Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto, I am there in everybody's heart as a Paramatma.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And then he says, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. From me comes remembrance, forgetfulness, and knowledge. And then he says, Vedesha Sarve Rahameva Vedyo. He says, learning the Vedas, I am the one to be known. Vedanta, Veda Vidaiva Chaham. That is the reason I have come as Vedacharya, Vyasa, to write the Vedanta for you and understand what it is. And so it's a step-by-step transition.
Thank you, Swamiji. I got the point.
Yeah. So it's a step-by-step transition, and where he says that from formless to form, I will take you. But you should be only ready like a scientist, that I'm ready to get my experience and understand what it is. And slowly, and then when you meditate on the form also, and when you meditate on the names of the Lord, slowly it comes out. Like you take Sant Jnaneshwar's case. Sant Jnaneshwar, Sant Tukaram, you are from the Maharashtra. Which background you are from, basically?
I'm a Kerala brought up in Bombay, so I know Marathi, I know Malayalam. But I'm not.
No,
God has been kind enough.
Talking back to Adi Shankara himself, you cannot just give away what he has taught. He is the man who has established the 4 mathas.
Exactly.
Who
revived Hinduism.
He revived Hinduism, revived Sanatan Dharma, revived Vedic culture. He is the man who gave you the 4 dham,
yes.
east, west, north,
yes.
south, the Sringeri Mutt. And then in the end, when Lord Narayana told him that, Shankara, you have already done everything, he said, no, so who's written Achyuta Ashtakam? Who's written Sudarshan Ashtakam? Who's written Govinda Ashtakam? Who's written Krishna Ashtakam? All by Adi Shankaracharya. This is his gift to the people. And then in the end, he said, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. So slowly, Lord, even though when the Lord told him, don't reveal, but Adi Shankara was an ardent fan of Lord Govinda. He said, no, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Murmate, Samprapte Sannhite Kale Nai Nai Rakshati Drukundam. He said, yes, I have reintroduced everything, but he actually piloted the things from where Shankara left, Ramanuja and Madhva and Vedanta Desika. These are the great personalities who took it up. So I hope and pray that Lord Shankara definitely blesses himself. He gives his blessings to you. But I'm sure that at one point of time, you will love getting into the culture of that.
I follow his Nirvana as I'm trying to follow his Nirvana Sutakam, Swamiji, which is Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I'm neither the being, I'm neither the intellect, I'm neither the ego. I am his complete bliss, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shiva. I'm trying to get that into my philosophy. That one sloka, that one.
You can, but I would say that when Sanatan Dharma has got so many aspects, you should explore all the other aspects also, because intellect is something which will give you that satisfaction once you get into the Brahmanandi. See, from Brahmanandi, you become Premanandi. You have to fall in love now. And to fall in love, you require some features.
Correct.
And that features the Lord is ready to show you now. Correct. And I'm sure Adi Shankara will guide you in the rightful way.
God
when
bless
he said Bhaja Govindam. Yeah, thank you. But it was an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
So
thank
just
you,
understand that just understand that these are the aspects of the Lord, and He will give you the right guidance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The route from here it starts, because when He says that when I am everything, I existed before, after, and everything. So we can get into that aspect also, how it works.
So I'll move the schedule by 1 week, Prabhu. I'll move the schedule for everyone by 1 week. So let's do 33.
Yeah, I would request that way, Prabhu, because if this goes into our heads, we are through with many things, I would say. I don't say you will through with everything, but through with many things.
So I'll move the schedule by 1 week for everyone. So we'll do 33, 34 next week, and then we'll continue with the original schedule then.
Yeah, 35, 36, let Jagan Prabhu only carry on that one.
Yeah, okay.
This is just like sharing a few thoughts with Pradeep Prabhu actually.
Swamiji, are you taking Bhagavad Gita classes? I would like to join. I follow something, I read it, but I would like to learn it better.
Just go ahead or the backside, 1427, because I'm just looking for the word Brahmana Pratishtha. Yeah.
Okay.
Pradeep ji, I would request you to just go through this verse, because see, here Krishna is telling that I am the source of the Brahma Jyoti. Yeah. So as I told you that as we go step by step, Brahmeti Paramatmi, there are two verses. One is in the Bhagavatam, Brahmeti Paramatmiti Bhagwaniti Shabdyate. One is that. Subal Prabhu will be able to help us with the verse number. I don't remember that verse, Prabhu. And one is this. So when you go in a step-by-step realization, Brahmeti Paramatmiti, you will come to know this. So here it says that I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, eternal, and the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. So this was the verse I said, it is Brahmanandi. So many of us, we begin our step with Brahmanandi as you start. But as you go ahead with the bhav and bhakti, to that formlessness also, the Lord reveals Himself. So I think your journey has begun, Pradeep. I'm not sure as and when and how it will culminate into your understanding. But this is the Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidas. You said about the Tattva Gyan, right?
Yes.
You were telling about, So when we talk about the Tattva, he says that learned translators to know the absolute truth called the non-dual, because this is Advaita. Again, a non-dual substance, Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagwan. All three are Advaitas, because there can be no second like him. Or there can be no second like that formlessness. But within that also, he has given you various gradations depending upon where you have reached and how much you understand and what you want to do from there. It is all dependent on that small free will that we have. And that is where, sometimes you should just tell the Lord that, see, in whichever way you are, I don't understand you, but I want to understand you in completeness. You take a dig at him.
No, I'm saying in submission. So I go where he takes me. So I'm not defining. I'm not defining that.
Yeah. So these are certain verses which will give you and again, Prabhu, can you take it to 10 to 34? Sorry, Subal, I'm just making you go around so many verses. 10 to, the Bhagavad Gita class I'll be starting in January. I'll let you know here. Yeah. Prabhu, 32. Sorry, sir. Sorry, 32. 10 to 32. Yeah. Now, see, this is when we speak about here that this is spoken by the Devatas who are worshipping the Lord, and it says that Aruya ye anya arvindaksha vimukti maninas prayasita bhavan avishuddha buddhaya Aruya krichena parampadam tata. When you talk about parampadam, that is the formlessness of the Lord. That is the supreme aspect. The form people call it as Vaikuntha, the formless call it as Brahmajyoti. And it says Patantyado. So it is an area of knowledge where we have to get more into it. But the path is right. You're situated in the right condition, bro. That much I can
Thank
vouch
you so
for
much.
it. We are
Thank
not
you so much.
questioning that why that way. But from here, these are the verses which I have given you. If you make a study on these areas, your intellectual query will start getting the santushti.
I'll do that. I'll do that, Prabhu. I'll do that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Subal Prabhu.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
That 15th verse of 15th chapter where he says, Krishna says, "Na matta smrtir jnanam apohanam cha."
Yeah.
What knowledge should one get and what knowledge should one not get, and when should one get what knowledge? That is also controlled by him.
Yeah.
So if Pradeep
That's the
Prabhu,
reason they say, no, ye yatha mam prapadyante.
yeah,
That's
correct.
the reason.
So if Pradeep
But
Prabhu,
all these aspects will help us to, Prabhu, culminate into the right way.
yeah,
And it is good to have discussions because it also enhances everybody's knowledge who are in the group. And also the speaker and the facilitator also gets an idea about how we can bring in more and more information from the Shastra.
yeah. Okay, Prabhu, thank you so
Prabhu,
much.
you have time for one question? Because I have a
Yeah,
list
tell
of
me.
questions, but I can ask one only.
Yeah, you can ask, Prabhu, no problem.
प्रभु ये जो दो चतुर्व्यूह हैं ये अभी तक समझ में नहीं आए हैं इसको रादर हिंदी में समझा दीजिए क्या चीज मतलब हाउ कैन वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट इज वन इज बलराम के बाद में संकर्षण वासुदेव अनिरुद्ध प्रद्युम्न और उसके बाद दूसरा चतुर्व्यूह व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज दिस कंसेप्ट
नहीं, देखिए, चतुर्व्यूह जो आता है भगवान का, वो भगवान की सेवा के हेतु आता है। सेवा के निमित्त से वो प्रकट होते हैं। उनका एक ही काम होता है कि भगवान जो है नारायण और लक्ष्मी नारायण के रूप में वैकुंठ में हो, सीताराम के रूप में अयोध्या में हो, रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश के रूप में द्वारका में हो, या राधा कृष्ण के रूप में गोलोक धाम में हो। उनके लीला में कोई विघ्न नहीं आना चाहिए। ऐसे तो विघ्न आ ही नहीं सकता, लेकिन ये उनका माइंडसेट है कि वी आर द प्रोटेक्टर्स ऑफ द फोर डायरेक्शंस, ईस्ट वेस्ट नॉर्थ साउथ, एंड फ्रॉम देयर ऑन nobody should interfere, or no soul which is unqualified should enter, and we take care of them in the सेवा भाव। उनको भगवान की सेवा करनी थी, तो भगवान ने उनसे कहा कि तुम ये सेवा पिक कर सकते हो मेरे लिए। तो चतुर्व्यूह हर जगह में होता है। इधर तो हमने दो बताया, मैंने जितने धाम का नाम लिया हर धाम में एक चतुर्व्यूह होता है। वासुदेव, संकर्षण, प्रद्युम्न, अनिरुद्ध, दीज आर द एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ द लॉर्ड। मेरे पास एक प्रेजेंटेशन है, तो प्रेजेंटेशन में सुभाल प्रभु को भेजूंगा, जिसमें मैंने भगवान के अलग अलग रूप के बारे में बताया था। तो उसमें वासुदेव, संकर्षण, प्रद्युम्न, अनिरुद्ध के बारे में भी है। उनका लुक्स क्या है, वो दिखते कैसे हैं, वो करते क्या है, उनके कौन से हाथ में कौन सा शस्त्र है, और वो किस प्रकार से मतलब आगे बढ़ते हैं, वो सब बताते हैं वो। आई विल सेंड दैट प्रेजेंटेशन प्रभु।
ठीक है प्रभु, विल ट्राई
तो
टू
चतुर्व्यूह
अंडरस्टैंड
का ये है। या एंड वी कैन शो दैट आल्सो लेटर ऑन। इज देयर एनीथिंग एल्स?
नहीं, विल आस्क
Prabhuji,
नेक्स्ट टाइम।
Yeah.
Prabhuji, just one small request I have. Whenever you feel right and whenever it seems right, there is a dialogue between Shankaracharya and Mandal Mishra.
Yeah.
Would it be
Okay.
possible to explore that? Because in that, a lot of Advaita is coming into picture.
Yeah,
So that has
Advaita.
been a mesmer.
No,
If
the
you feel
Advaita
right.
philosophy, no, the Advaita philosophy was meant to be propagated because otherwise the Siddhant of the Sanatana Dharma would not have come into existence when Buddha took it to zero level. So
Fair enough.
definitely those kind of things had to come. But then that was just the beginning point. As I told you, no, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan. So the Lord is also following the same sequence. He said, suddenly if I come and say that I am the form, Om Jai Jagdishwara, do it, it will take some time because you are in Nirvana, zeroism, where even formlessness was not given any weightage. If you see Buddha philosophy,
Hmm.
because there was so much of misuse of the, what you say, Shastras and Vedas, that people
Correct.
literally became very like worse
Lost.
than Jalal. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So when there, abhi samjho, suppose if I come to the hospital with a severe chronic problem, they are not directly going to attack my that aspect of the disease. But what they will do is
Correct.
first they will see body में strength लाना चाहिए and इस आदमी को शांत करना चाहिए. So first they will take care of those things which makes me comfortable. Then they will go to attack those things which is giving me trouble.
Got it.
So
Got it.
from voidism to Nirakarvadi to Sakarvadi, Sakarvadi to Vishishtadvaitavadi, and that is how the sequence goes. And then we have Lord Chaitanya who accepts that Achinta Veda Bhed. It means formlessness and form both are there. That is Achinta Veda
Correct.
Bhed.
Correct. Correct.
But how to understand that? That is what this Lord Chaitanya has done. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has met all of them. Though Shankara was not his contemporary, but Shankara is eternally present in his form. So he came and met him in Navadvip Dham Mayapur.
That's
So there is a discussion.
Yeah,
There is there. So they have
Yeah,
a
there's a
discussion
there's a-
there also.
yeah, right. So maybe that part, if you can elaborate, because that is something which is very passionate about.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Subal Prabhu, with your permission.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your time. And next week, we'll hope to see you for 33 and 34.
Yes, dear, and I'll definitely make a few presentations also so that it will be beautiful night.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Let's chant
Hare
the
Krishna.
Vaishnava prayers.
Hare Krishna.
Vansha kalpataruvesya.
सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
की जय।
जय।